welcome to Standard 9 Economics class. Today we are going to learn about poverty in India. Now we know that our society is divided into two parts. We have the haves and the have-nots. Have-nots, whom we usually call as poor. Now among this poor again there are categories. There are some people who are poor but they have little money, okay, they have some money at least to make two ends meet. They can at least satisfy their hunger, at least they can avail one meal a day. But there are other poor who are totally impoverished or they are bereft of food, shelter and clothing. So this kind of poverty is known as churning poverty or it is chronic poverty. On the other hand, we have people. Okay, there are people who are usually they are well-to-do, but due to some bad luck, they become poor. They are called as transient poor. Okay, that is transient poverty. So let us define poverty. Now, before doing that, let me also introduce you to the other part of the strata, which is the haves. So then we have the rich and the super rich or millionaires, billionaires, middle class. Okay, so these are the various stratas of the society that we have. Today we are here to discuss about poverty in India. Okay, now before we talk about before I give you the technical definition here, let me just tell you that poverty is always defined in terms of income. We think that people having less money are poor. It's not like that. Now during the COVID period, because since the economy is languishing, there are many people who have lost their jobs. Production has come to a standstill. So companies are not able to pay salaries, and that is why many of the employees have lost their jobs. So that doesn't mean that they are poor. Okay, loss of income does not make them poor because they have their savings. With the help of their savings, they can sustain their consumption. So income fluctuates more than consumption. Okay, so that is why across the globe, most of the countries have defined poverty on the basis of consumption, the calorie intake. All right. And then again we have poverty is always defined in context of per capita intake of calories and minimum level of consumption. Alright, so across the globe, this is how poverty is defined. It is on the basis of calorie intake, how much, the consumption, okay, how much you are consuming in order to nourish your body. Based on that, poverty is defined. Now we have an instrument to measure poverty. And that is, now before we talk about that, okay, let me just give you the definition of poverty. Phenomena where society is unable to fulfill the basic consumption need of its people. Okay, so what is poverty now? It is a phenomena where society is unable to fulfill the basic consumption. The basic consumption needs include your food, shelter and clothing. I have already mentioned to you that there are a section of poor who are bereft of food, who do not have, they are homeless. Okay, they are homeless and even they don't have proper clothing. So if the economy is not able to satisfy these basic needs of the people, then that phenomena is termed as poverty. Now I was just talking to you about a mechanism, okay, or a instrument that is widely used for measuring poverty, and that is the poverty line. Now you must have heard about poverty line or below poverty line, above poverty line. These words are quite common. Okay, now what do you mean by poverty line? It is just an imaginary line. There is no line as such that is demarcating the society. It is only an instrument used or a mechanism to measure poverty. Alright, so poverty line is a cutoff point on the line of distribution. So I just gave you, introduced you, or I just briefed you about the stratas of society. I have just mentioned to you that society is divided. We have different stratas, or society is stratified. There is stratification. So we have the rich, we have the billionaires, and then on the other hand we have the poor and the poorest of all. So there are different sections of the society. So how do we measure how many people are poor? We can use the poverty line as a instrument to measure that. So it is a cutoff point on the line of distribution which usually divides the population into two groups, poor and non-poor. Non-poor means rich or middle class and all that. Okay, the other stratas of society. Okay, now the percentage of people living below the poverty line is called the head count. Remember, we have the poverty line here. Okay, so people who are above the poverty line, they are considered as non-poor. That means they are able to satisfy their hunger. Okay, they are supposed to meet we can say the easiest way of understanding is they have enough money to buy the basic needs of life. They can at least make two ends meet. That is, they can provide shelter for themselves. They can provide some clothing for themselves. At the same time, if not two, at least one meal a day they can avail. So they come under the influence of the above poverty line. Now people who are below the poverty line, they are considered as poor. Okay, and they are known as head count. The percentage of people living below the poverty line is called the head count. Now, let us understand the mechanisms, how India developed different mechanisms to identify number of poor in India. Now, we know that in 1947 we attained independence. And after becoming independent, India was struggling, okay, to develop mechanism to identify the number of poor in the country. Okay. Now, the first step that was taken by the government of India in 1962 was Planning Commission, okay, formed a study group. Okay, we know that Jawaharlal Nehru is the architect. He is known as the architect of economic planning. So we have a planning commission. So planning commission formed a study group in 1962. This was followed in 1979. Okay, it was followed by the setting up of task force on projection of minimum needs and effective consumption demand. Okay, this was another expert group. A task force was set up in order to study or to find out or identify the number of poor in India. And then in 1989, again an expert group was appointed to study this matter. And currently, if you see, poverty in India is defined on the basis of consumption expenditure. Okay, at the moment it is on the basis of consumption expenditure. We will come to it later. Okay, now let us talk about how poverty line at present is defined in India. Okay, now in India today, as I have already mentioned to you, we always define poverty in terms of income. But it is not true, because income keeps on fluctuating. Alright, so now most of the countries across the globe, they started defining, okay, they were defining poverty in terms of calorie intake. So now in India, we are also defining, okay, we also define poverty in terms of calorie intake. Okay, so the daily minimum nutritional requirement for survival. Now this is what the Planning Commission has put forth. Okay, who is a poor person? So the Planning Commission has defined poverty line on the basis of the calorie intake. Now here are the calories which a person needs for survival. Okay, so the daily minimum nutritional requirement for survival, which is determined by the Planning Commission, is 2,400 calories at the rural level, 2,100 calories at the urban level. Now, if any person in the rural area or the urban area is not able to manage the intake of these calories, okay, he is not able to eat food which will give him these calories, he is considered as a poor person. Now you must have identified the variation in the calorie intake. In the rural areas, the calorie intake is much more than in the urban areas. It is 2,400 calories in the rural areas, 2,100 in the urban areas. It is because in the rural area, the kind of work people are performing is manual in nature. Okay, they perform physical work manual. They are manually engaged in different type of work. Whereas in the urban areas, it is the mental work that is happening. So that is why the variation. Now, the new definition of poverty line is now based on the daily consumption expenditure. I've just mentioned to you that consumption expenditure. What do you mean by consumption expenditure? Amount which is spent to purchase food that will help in the intake of these predetermined calories. Or rather we can say it is the consumption expenditure. It is that amount which ensures food basket that will help to satisfy the basic needs of the person. Food basket in the sense the meal or the food which will help the person to take in the following the calories that are predetermined. Okay, so now the new definition is based on the daily consumption expenditure. Okay, it is 816 per person per month at the rural area in the rural areas, whereas urban areas it is rupees 1,000 per person per month. It is per person, like per capita. Alright, now why is there a variation? 816 in the rural area, 1,000 in the urban area. Because stuff or the requirements that we need to satisfy our day-to-day needs are much more cheaper in the rural areas as compared to the urban areas. So that is why the variation in the amount here. Now let us talk about this method. Okay, this method is used in India currently, and it is the monthly per capita expenditure method. So now poverty line is defined in India on the basis of the per capita expenditure. How much a person can spend to satisfy his basic requirements. Requirements which will help him to nourish his body. That's what. Okay, now we have already, the Planning Commission has already predetermined. They have already fixed the amount. A person per person, it is rupees 816 in the rural areas, 1,000 in the urban areas. So it is per person. Every person must spend 816 rupees to satisfy his requirements, his basic needs in the rural areas, and he should be able to spend 1,000 rupees in the urban areas. I hope I have made myself clear here. Okay, so it is used. So this method is used in India to determine your poverty line or define poverty line, and per capita expenditure is nothing else but it is the money value of the minimum calorie intake is calculated. What is the minimum calorie intake? 2,400 calories in the rural areas, 2,100 calories in the urban areas. So with 1,000 rupees, a person can fulfill his requirement. He can manage to intake the minimum calories that are already fixed in the urban areas. In the rural areas, again, with 816 rupees, every person can satisfy his basic requirements or the calorie intake of 2,400. Is that okay? Yeah? Alright. So now let us move on. So this is the method. So just remember one thing, the crux of the whole story. What did we learn today? We are learning about, I'm just summarizing before I move ahead. Okay? So we are learning about poverty in India today. We said that, and I just mentioned to you, the society is stratified. We have different stratas. So we have the poor and the non-poor. Now even among the poor, we said there are people they can make two ends meet. On the other hand, there are people who are completely impoverished. They are bereft of basic needs of life. So that is called as the churning poverty or the chronic poverty. Then we have another section of people who are actually they are non-poor. That is, they are well-to-do, but because of some bad luck, they become poor, and that is called as transient poverty. Okay, that kind of poverty is known as transient poverty. I also mentioned to you that usually, invariably, we have this habit of measuring or defining poverty on the basis of income, which is wrong. Income tends to fluctuate. I gave an example of the COVID period. Now, many people have lost their jobs. That doesn't mean they have become poor, because they have already created savings and they are depending on their savings to meet their consumption needs. So, most of the countries of the world, usually, countries of the world, they define poverty on the basis of consumption expenditure. How much a person, the ability of a person to spend to buy the commodities that he requires for his survival. Based on that, poverty is defined in most of the countries of the world, and we have also adopted the same method, which is the per capita consumption expenditure method. Okay, so let us move on. Types of poverty. Okay, there are two types of poverty. We have the absolute poverty and there is relative poverty. Now the terms itself, just pay attention to the terms. Absolute. What does that understand? What do you understand by that? It is the number. It is indicating number. Okay, we already spoke about poverty line. Poverty line is just an imaginary line. Okay. Now, it's actually poverty line is an index, or it is an instrument to measure poverty, to find out how many poor people exist in the country. Now, the percentage of people below the poverty line, they are called as the head count. Okay, they are known as head count. So, we can count it. We can count the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that is your absolute poverty. That means wherever you can count the number, you can find out, okay, fine, this is the number. Okay, we have 10 poor people, we have 1,000 poor people. That is your absolute poverty which exists and which exists here in India. Okay, so it refers to the minimum needs determined by poverty. Okay, so it's like if a person is unable to manage the intake of that many calories, like 2,400 in the rural areas, 2,100 in the urban areas. He cannot do that, manage that much, he is poor. If a person is unable to spend 816 rupees per person, I am talking about, per capita. Okay, if he cannot manage this per person consumption expenditure of 816 rupees in the villages or rural areas, or 1,000 rupees in the urban areas, he is considered as poor. Okay, and then it refers to the number of people living below poverty line. I have told you, head count. Okay, the percentage of people, I am repeating this again, percentage of people below the poverty line are known as head count. And that's exactly what absolute poverty is all about. And to measure absolute poverty, there are two bases. Okay, there are two bases. One is the calorie intake. Second is your monthly per capita consumption expenditure. I just gave you an example. So these are the two methods or two measures or indexes which are used for identifying the absolute poverty. To find out how many people are absolutely poor or actually poor. That is your absolute poverty. Just remember, absolute poverty means nothing else but number, head count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is absolute. Now relative, what do you mean by relative? I am relatively in a better position than him. So you are comparing. So relative poverty is comparison. It is based on comparison, and relative poverty persists in the Western countries. Like Mr. A and Mr. B. If A has 2 cars and B has 5 cars, so we can say that relatively A is poorer than B. So it is like that. It has nothing to do with your calorie intake and all. It is the possession of wealth. I hope I have made myself clear. Okay, so that is relative poverty. So refers to poverty with respect to different region and nation. So how are we trying? We are also comparing. We are comparing India with the Western countries. So compared, relatively India is poor. So that is relative poverty, because in the Western countries they have all the amenities and people are enjoying a very good lifestyle. Okay, the standard of living is pretty high. But that is not the case here in India. We have many people who are bereft of food. So relatively, India is poor. Okay, or relatively we can say that China, this India is, if you compare China and India, okay, India is poor. So that is your relative poverty. Okay, that is relative poverty. So it shows comparative poverty, as I have already told you, comparison. And the measures, the instruments or the indexes that are used to measure this relative poverty is, it is always on the basis of comparison and comparison or per capita income earned. Okay, it is now, this is on the basis of your earnings. If my earnings are more, I can satisfy more needs. If my earnings are less, I won't be able to do that. So a person who is earning more than me will have a better life than me. So relatively I am poor. Alright. So it is always based on the comparison. Okay, per capita income earned. So these are the two types of poverty here. So we have absolute poverty, which is, absolute is what? It is the number of people below poverty line. That is absolute poverty. On the other hand, we have relative poverty, comparison. Okay, India is poorer than US. Okay, so that is relative poverty. Okay, Mr. A has 2 cars, Mr. B has 5 cars. So A is relatively poorer than B. Alright, so that is these are the two types of poverties here. Now let us just go through the extent of poverty. I don't have statistics to share with you. Okay, and it is also not that important. Okay, only what you need to know is how poverty is measured. Alright, now in India, extent of poverty is measured at the national level and the state level by Planning Commission on the basis of what? I have already mentioned to you. Of what? It is the consumption expenditure data. We are talking about that. We know Planning Commission has already fixed the calorie intake. Okay, they have also fixed the consumption expenditure, how much a person must spend, one per person I am talking about. How much a person must spend in order to satisfy his basic requirements of life. Okay, so in India, to know the extent of poverty, how many people in India are poor, how do they determine it? What index is used, or what are the measures that are used? It is the consumption expenditure. They use the consumption expenditure. See whether people have that much of money to spend. Okay, whether the money which they have, does it ensure the food basket which will help them to nourish their bodies, or to intake those calories, which is already determined or which is already fixed. Fine. So it is the consumption expenditure data. And who collects the consumption expenditure data? It is the National Sample Survey Office. So based on the data collected by the National Sample Survey Office, the Planning Commission, okay, determines the consumption expenditure. So I mean to say defines, not consumption expenditure, but Planning Commission defines poverty. Okay, now Human Development Report published by UNO measures poverty in terms of, this is a new index. Okay, so UNO is measuring poverty, okay, in terms of multi-dimensional poverty index. So this is developed by the United Nations organization to measure poverty. Okay, it is the multi-dimensional poverty index, and this index takes into account 3 important parameters. Okay, what are these 3 important parameters? They are standard of living, health and education. because more people are literate. When people are literate, they have skills. They don't have to depend on someone else to provide employment. They can generate employment for themselves. So literacy matters a lot. Okay? Then health. If people are hale and hearty, they will be energetic and ebullient. They can serve. They can serve more. They can work hard. They can persevere to earn, to maximize their earnings and satisfy the basic requirements. So that calorie intake is possible in that case. So health is also very important. You have to be fit and fine and energetic, physically fit rather. Okay, and then standard of living is again, if you are healthy, if you are educated, then obviously you can strive, you can work hard, you can maximize your earnings, and then you can maintain a very high standard of living. Alright, so that is why UNO has identified these parameters. So if the person is enjoying in a country, if a person, citizen is having a good standard of living, they are educated, they are very healthy. Okay, these are the parameters used by UNO to identify the number of poor existing in that country. Okay, so when this index was used, it was realized or it was revealed that India enjoys, or rather we can say India ranks very low in comparison to China and Sri Lanka. So that means China and Sri Lanka has less number of poor people in the country there as compared to India. So relativity, Okay, this is your relative poverty. Alright. So now, according to this report, I just missed out on this point. Okay, according to this Human Development Report, which is published by United Nations Organization. Okay, people living on $1.25 per day are considered poor. Okay, it is those people people who are living on $1.25. That means they only can earn this amount. Okay, that means they will not be able to satisfy their basic requirements, so they are poor. So anyone living on $1.25 per day are considered as poor. Okay, so this is how this is how the extent of poverty is measured using these indexes. Basically, world over, it is the per capita consumption expenditure which is used as a base. Okay, which is used as a base for calculating poverty or to identify the number of poor people in the country. Now, what are the major characteristics of a poor person? Okay, let's run through them. Hunger and malnutrition. I don't think I need to emphasize on that. Okay, I've already explained to you. Now, any person who's not able to manage a calorie intake of 2,400, we are talking in context of India. Okay, so any person who cannot manage the intake of 2,400 calories in the rural areas, 2,100 calories in the urban areas, he is a malnourished person. He is hungry and he is poor. That is one characteristic. No income or very little income. Okay, very little income in the sense that means he does not have he will not be able to satisfy his requirements. Okay, the per capita consumption expenditure. What is it? How Planning Commission has already fixed that. It is 816 rupees in the rural areas, 1000 rupees in the urban areas, isn't it? Now, if the person's earning is less than 1000 rupees in the urban areas and less than 816 rupees in the rural areas, he will not be able to buy or he will not be able to purchase the goods he requires to survive. So he is poor. Okay, so very little income or no income. Physically weak due to sickness or disability. Okay, health. Again, another important parameter which is determined or which is identified by UNO. to calculate poverty or to identify poverty. So a person who is sick, who is disabled, he will be unable to earn sufficient income for himself. So no income, bereft of food, shelter and clothing. So he is poor. Okay. Now lack of literacy and skills. I have already mentioned to you. Three important parameters: health, education, standard of living. They are all interconnected. An educated person need not depend on someone else. If he is skilled, he can do something. He can generate employment for himself. He can create employment opportunities for himself. If he is healthy and energetic, he will be able to persevere and work hard. And that's how he can maximize his earnings. He can satisfy his basic requirements. He is not poor. He doesn't remain poor rather. He is helping himself to improve his standard of living. So that means he is not poor. So anyone who is not able to do this is a poor, remains poor. Okay, so literacy and skills. No access to basic amenities like water supply, electricity. Of course, if you are homeless, why do you require electricity? Even water supply, they don't have proper water supply. In our homes we have taps, isn't it? And so we don't face much difficulties. But these people, they don't avail these, people who are poor, they don't avail these amenities. Then large size families. That's another, it's actually the major boulder. Okay, more mouths to feed, less income, poverty. Okay, that's one characteristic. And then this is very sad, but some of them fall in the debt trap. As I've already said, there are some people who are transient poor. They are well-to-do initially, but due to some bad luck, if at all, something goes awry with the family, and they have to borrow money from the money lender, especially in the rural areas. We have seen why the farmers are committing suicide. Okay, this is the reason. They are borrowing. Okay, they borrow, and when the crop fails, they are not able to repay the money lender, and the money lender are again unscrupulous. They go on compounding the interest, and that is how they become poor. Okay, and they become poor rather, and we can say they get caught up in that debt trap. They go on paying the debts, but it is never paid. Okay, so they fall in a debt trap. So these are some of the characteristics of a poor person. This is all for today. Thank you very much. In the next video, we will continue with the causes.